इंडिया में इतना ज़्यादा there is stigma of failure as well, right? कभी-कभी maybe a star player takes the failure personally. It's a failure at an objective, but हमारी tendency है, to often take it कि यार I'm a failure. Do you face that, or have you managed to kind of coach your team out of that? How does that?
See, I don't fail, right? Those 10 guys fail.
क्या बात है सर, क्या बात है सर.
Right.
So your question is, how do we manage that failure?
That there can be accomplished guys, a guy who's good, but he takes the failure very personally. Right. But the guy is good, he can go somewhere else, or he can be attached to a different part of a business and still succeed.
Right.
But people tend to have that spotlight effect.
I think the notion that you will hear everywhere is that you should be celebrating failures. That's bullshit. ऐसा नहीं होता. Failure के बाद आप celebrate कर ही नहीं सकते. जो वो बोलता है वो झूठ बोल रहा है. So now to deal with failure, there are only 3 possible ways. One is a person retreats into a shell. Okay, if he is retreating into a shell, he has no place in your company. You should be ruthless enough to let him go, at least for the benefit of him, if not for yourself, right? तो उसको let go करो. दूसरा बंदा क्या होता है, वो एकदम bounce back करना चाहता है. He is the guy who says that I've learned failures are the stepping stone to success. I've learned from my mistakes, and I'm going to correct it the next time around. That guy you need to back, because this guy will potentially run away and become an entrepreneur somewhere else. So you should, and I have a method of how to make it work. We'll come back to that in case you're interested. But that guy you need to really hold back. And that guy will always slip away from you because he knows that he had a failure at your place. Right? And then there is a third guy. Then the third guy is basically who will say that, hey, you know what? I had one failure. Now let me meander. The slack guy is down. The bounce back is top. And he says that I'll meander. That guy also you have to throw away. Frankly, what is happening is, because we are changing as a society, that bounce back guy used to be like 5%. Probably today it's about 10%. Those guys are very rare. So you have to change the person. In 10% of the time only will the guy actually fit into your scheme of things the next time around. And most of the time he may run away. So you are left with a 95% attrition rate post failure, which is fine.
So I'll come back to that part, right? About retaining the guy who's failed, but you want to keep him around. How do you go about doing that?
When we graduate people, I'm giving a real answer, right? Yeah. So in my opinion, every entrepreneur needs to have some kind of very basic skills. One is sales. 2 is ability to think very practically and stuff like that, right? Very basic skills. It's a toolkit. Let's say आपको 10 चीजें जाननी है तभी आप entrepreneur बनाओगे. तो हम क्या करते हैं? In a very Machiavellian way, what we do is, when we give an internal graduate to run these experiments, we make sure that he's not picked up all those 10 skills. He's probably 6 on 10, 7 on 10. तो fail कर जाएगा, हम बोलेंगे बाकी तो सीख के जा. Internally, when we create an entrepreneur or a guy who's actually going to run an experiment within the company, we make sure that he is not fully an entrepreneur yet. Like, he may not be exposed to capital raising. He may not be exposed to team building. He may not be exposed to technology building, which my good friend Vivek is very good at, right? So he may not be exposed to it, and hence he does not have appreciation of it. So हम वो 2-3 हमेशा छुपा के अपने पास रखते हैं.
सब छुपा के रखते हैं
ताकि जब वो भागे तो हम बोलें ये तो सीख के चला जाएगा. इतना तूने मतलब in the hard colloquial way, अब तूने 3 साल मराई, ये 3 तो लेके जा.
How do you think about this? You in terms of ये बंदा I have to keep him around क्योंकि नहीं तो ये कहीं और जाके he's going to create wealth. So do you think about it from that perspective that I would rather have him?
Now I do. Because when we started, we were a team of 6 co-founders. My 6th co-founder, if you remember those 15 guys that we spoke about in the beginning. So the 6th co-founder was a guy by the name Srinath Ramakrishnan. He was a classic entrepreneur, right? He was the 6th guy in the company. He was a classic entrepreneur, could do everything. I lost him after 1.5 years. He created a company called Zetwork, right? So then I realized that one should not have all the skills within a company, right? They should have some, but not have others. And during the journey in the company, they should not learn everything, because then you risk attrition.